What I'm going to break down today will be the topic of additional articles and audio-video content in the future. The topic is the TSP Index. The TSP Index is a tool I use every day. You can find it by going to thesharpplays.com and clicking on the Index link in the website menu. The TSP Index is the longest-running analytic that I have posted anywhere. It's been on thesharpplays.com daily since 2019. There's a reason it has had such a long tenure. Last Saturday, there were people talking about how the content was underperforming the past few days. My response? The index turned down on Tuesday. The fact that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday saw underperforming content should not be a shock to anyone. It's what you should have expected starting Wednesday morning when you saw the term in the index based on Tuesday's action. In Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, DCR, that's the Degenerate Club report, I continually said I was betting light, if I was even betting at all. In the DCR on Saturday morning, I explained how the index remained in a downtrend, but that I was open to betting NCAA football, given a variety of factors I explained at the time. Had anyone followed this advice, you had a great Saturday. By Sunday morning, due to success across all the content, the index turned up. A new uptrend had started. What is an uptrend in the TSP Index? It is when the TSPI line is equal to or above its 5-day moving average, which is known as the TSPI 5-SMA line. I know, it sounds complicated, but it's just because I'm describing it in words. If you look at the photo here, as I'm talking, it's very easy to see. It's even color-coded. How exciting. Uptrends will see the sharps perform well and the public struggle. Conversely, when the index line is below the 5-day moving average, we will expect to see the sharps struggle and the public succeed. Now, in those downtrends, should you follow the public? Theoretically you could, but I just avoid it altogether. The index does not tell you that today or tomorrow the content will turn. It's not predictive in that way. But we can get some hints on that too. I'll save that topic for another lesson down the road. What the index tells you is that a turn has occurred, and typically we will expect the content to run in that direction for multiple days. Of course, there are times of up and down action in the index where it's a little more volatile, but more often than not, things get running after the turns. The strategy then becomes, when the index does turn down, stop betting. Take a path and wait for the index to turn back up again. Had you done that last Wednesday morning and stuck to only college football, not only would you have saved a lot of money leading into Saturday, but you would have also turned a great profit once the turn came. Maybe sometimes you pass 2, 5, 8, 10 or more days because of what the index is saying. Trust me, there's a reason for it. You're probably saving money. If you absolutely have to have action during an index downtrend, just put some piety. Throw it around here, there you go, action, something to sweat, something to cheer on, but you're not taking material hits to your bankroll when the index is stringing at you. Stop betting. The wave after Saturday's turn has gone on now for 3 days. We'll see later today into tomorrow morning whether that gets to 4. Again, my advice in the index section of the DCR all last week from Wednesday through Saturday was to bet light, except that I would continue to be open to NCAA football content. Then on Sunday, I switched to betting normally to ride the wave back up. The wave, that is. Gambling is all about runs. I got the idea for the TSP Index over 15 years ago after a visit to Vegas playing 2 separate games. One was Baccarat, and without diving too deep into the game, it is a card game with essentially the same chance of a 50-50 outcome, player or banker. Despite every hand being a coin toss, there are a lot of trends that occur in the hands themselves. Sometimes the bank is running, sometimes the player is running. Call it random consistency, a term coined by an old wise man who I used to work with. I thought about this random consistency when going to the craps table. I saw how the craps table went from ice-cold shooter after shooter to then you would get a hot shooter, and the heat would continue for a few players. You still can't beat the game of craps due to the math. but you can stay at the table a lot longer by avoiding jumping in when nobody can seem to make a point. At a minimum, you miss a lot of cold shooters, preserve bankroll, and thereby can play longer, even if ultimately the math of the game will get you. Sports betting operates the same way. You know from your own betting, sometimes you are white hot for days at a time and then ice cold for days at a time. Imagine if you could see when the turn comes and avoid the bulk of the cold run or ride the bulk of the hot run. That is what the TSP Index aims to do for the Sharp Plays content, and it has done it with success for years and years. As a gambler, you must have an open mind to new ideas and ways of thinking. Gambling is always evolving with new tools, techniques, and strategies. If you aren't open to evolving, you will soon find yourself hoping for a spot in the Gambling Hall of Fame because your time has passed and you don't quite realize it yet. It is especially important to be open-minded for things you disagree with. You don't have to follow them, but at least have an open mind that you might not know everything and could learn a few things. The books are constantly evolving. You must as well. In the TSP newsletter this week, check it out on thesharpplays.com by going to the newsletter link in the menu. I discussed all the self-righteous, know-it-all blowhards on X, formerly Twitter, and in the media, TV, radio, podcasts. These are the types of folks who can't add, have no idea how to calculate advanced probabilities. Yes, that's one thing I do know, thanks to that annoying statistics professor I hated in college, but whose lessons I use even to today. So, thank you, sir. However, back to my point, these morons who you will see and hear on TV, radio, and podcasts, who dream to be in that gambling hall of fame, and who say the same moronic sound bites over and over, will tell you things like, the TSP Index is BS. There is no way to predict gambling momentum. Tell them okay, and then ask them to show you their betting performance broken down by day for a 90-day period. Most won't, and that should give them away right there as frauds who can't stand on their own 2 feet. However, if they do show you their performance, highlight the groups of positive and negative days that appear in each series. That's all the data you will need to show them they have been short-sighted and that gambling is indeed a lot, if not mostly, about the runs. So if they know when a cold turn has occurred or a hot turn has occurred, how much of a difference could it make in their gambling performance? You see these websites which highlight the runs of handicappers they are selling? You know what I mean. Vinny Boom Boss is 17-4 his last 21 on NFL football. Then what happens? A couple days later or a few weeks, you don't seem to see Vinny's NFL run being highlighted anymore. Why is that? Our old nemesis regression has stopped by, and Vinny went from 17-4 to 4-17. Even though Vinny is a 50-50 handicapper going 21-21, he had 2 very clear and distinct hot and cold runs in the process. Imagine if you could measure when the turn came in Vinny's action. Perhaps it was an 0-3 day. Then you decided Vinny usually sucks, so you would begin to fade him. You missed the 0-3 turn, but you were there for the sweet fade of his 4-14 run to follow. Where are we today with the TSP Index? We're in the same uptrend that began on Saturday and remains in place today. How has the content performed since the turn on Saturday and after the downtrend last week? Well, take a look at the slide for specifics. Wednesday through Saturday morning, based on the index, I was betting NCAA football content but passing everything else. Here are the results. Saturday, the DCR selection cashed and a 3-leg parlay cashed, all NCAA football. Sunday, the index turned up. Normal betting was advised, cashed the 2-0 on Sunday Night Baseball public fade, cash FSU and the DCR selection on Philadelphia and MLB. Also on Sunday, we had a 3-leg Canby Money parlay in the Degenerate Club report that saw those legs go 2-1. Next on Monday, Sharps cashed Duke outright, and the public lost on Clemson in the over. The Duke outright was covered in a video that I posted to Twitter, or X, and on Telegram. And ended up being a big move, and whatever they knew was definitely spot on. Then yesterday, the DCR selection on Philadelphia under and a late relief on Miami plus 120, both in MLB cashed the ticket. 2-0 on rated content yesterday, and here we are on Wednesday. We'll have to see what goes on, go from there, but the run has definitely continued for more than just one day. Today's audio-video bit of content is the longest that I've put together to date, but it is a topic near and dear to my heart. I know some of you will chalk it all up as garbage, but that's okay, and I'm not here to save you. You will listen to me in a few months or a few years when you have blown money and brought yourself to near bankruptcy or complete bankruptcy multiple times. Then it will be back to the sharp plays, realizing the best gambling content was right here all along. You definitely would not be the first nor the last to go that route. I can't tell you how many haters are now not just followers, but loyal, monthly TSP Live subscribers. That's why I don't attack the haters. I know they will be future clients, and I know they are just misguided or angry right now. So I might poke them a little bit because it's fun, but I let them have their moment because soon I know I will be their best friend. I'm in it for the long game, even if they like to enjoy their little short quips here and there. For those who don't like audio and video, do you realize how much you would have had to read if I typed this all instead? It's over 3 pages of notes that I went off of, and that's notes, not formal sentences and paragraphs. I expect this to be probably my last video for the week. Heading into the weekend, I really want this topic to sink into people's minds and allow everyone plenty of time to view it before I do another bit of video, and then people will just pass over this one and onto that one. So I'll leave this up for a while. Thanks for listening, and good luck this weekend. Let's hope the TSP Index continues running through the weekend and well into next week.